I don't want to overreact, but we may have just seen the craziest and potentially most influential exit interview we've seen, not just in the WNBA, but across all sports. If you missed it, Napheesa Collier, one of the biggest and most influential players in the WNBA right now, had her exit interview today, and she essentially came prepared with a statement. And there was a lot that came out of it, so let's break it down.
Year after year, the only thing that remains consistent is the lack of accountability from our leaders. The league has a buzzword that they've rolled out as talking points for the CBA as to why they can't pay the players what we're worth. That word is sustainability. But what's truly unsustainable is keeping a good product on the floor while allowing officials to lose control of games.
She brings up the CBA relatively quickly. I think that's not an accident, and it's going to be a very messy negotiation. And I think this is just step one. But then things get really interesting, and this is where we get to the juicy quotes.
At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs.
Yeah, that's not a good look if you're a commissioner. And sure, it might be true, and a lot of the times across any sport, the losers are going to complain about the refs more than winning. That's just human nature. But we've had multiple instances, even in this playoffs, where it's not just Minnesota, the losing team, who's complaining. We've had complaints, and we've had other coaches and teams almost speak up for them and say, no, this isn't just the fact that we lost, it's a league-wide issue. And then it gets worse from there.
I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything.
Yeah, you don't have to be a Caitlin Clark fan to know that that's just flat out not true. Even someone like me and others that are fan of the W first before Caitlin Clark, everyone recognizes Caitlin Clark does not necessarily need the WNBA to be famous. She was famous in college. She had all these endorsement deals before the W. To think that Kathy thinks that Caitlin Clark owes the W, also not a good look. Then she continues on about her injury, who reached out to her, and more importantly, who didn't reach out to her.
But do you know who I haven't heard from? Kathy. Not one call, not one text. Instead, the only outreach has come from her number 2 telling my agent that she doesn't believe physical play is contributing to injuries.
And she goes on from there, and I'm going to paraphrase what she says, because I agree with everything she says. Kathy Engelbert, I get, is a really hard position being a commissioner of any sport. But at the end of the day, you have to treat your players with respect. And if I'm a commissioner, yes, there may be things I don't agree with them. Yes, you feel like you're kind of on the opposite side of them, especially in this big negotiation that's coming. But at the end of the day, the players are the product. And if I'm the commissioner, the least I would do is check in on one of my star players who got hurt and not try to say, no, this wasn't a foul. No, this doesn't have to do with me. Just being like, hey, I'm reaching out. I want to make sure you're okay. The fact that that wasn't the case, not a good look. Then Napheesa finishes with saying this.
We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world.
That pretty much sums up where the WNBA is at. And I don't think this was just an accident that Napheesa says this now. Yeah, she's upset how this season ended, how last season ended. But this is a bigger wide issue that a leader like Napheesa Collier had to step up and say something.